Meanwhile, speaking of America the Beautiful, today is a very significant day in our nation's history. On February 4th, 1789, George Washington was officially elected the first president of the United States.
But it turns out he wasn't always so eager about accepting the job. Here to explain and discuss his legacy, presidential historian and author of American Phoenix, Jane Hampton Cook. Good morning to you, Jane.
Good morning.
So why was he not so thrilled about becoming president?
Well, he likened it to a culprit, which we would use the term criminal, going off to his execution. That's how excited he was to become president. You know, and when he was, during the Revolutionary War, he wore his military uniform to the Continental Congress, and that was a hint, hey, I want to be commander-in-chief. He didn't have that sentiment about becoming president. He was really nervous about trying to keep the country united and to set up a permanent nation. That was a really daunting task for George Washington.
Sure, he preferred the military service over political service at that time.
Absolutely.
Now tell us about this scenario. The electors in what is we now know as the Electoral College, they all get together, and Alexander Hamilton, on that first vote, he had something sneaky going on there. Explain what happened.
Yes, Alexander Hamilton was very loyal to George Washington, and so he heard whispers that the northern delegates were going to vote for John Adams. And at that time, each elector put two names on the ballot. Whoever got the most votes won president, the runner-up was vice president. So he went around saying, hey, don't vote for John Adams, because he wanted George Washington to win resoundingly. And of course, he did unanimously with 69 votes, and I think Adams got 34. So it embarrassed Adams, but it certainly set up, hey, we have a clear president, and it's George Washington.
Well, he eventually became president anyway.
He did. He did.
I want to read a quote from the first inaugural about the lasting legacy, the preservation of the sacred fire of liberty and the destiny of the Republican model of government are finally staked on the experiment entrusted to the hands of the American people. I guess part of his legacy, Jane, is that he took an idea for a startup and he turned it into something permanent.
That's right. He took an idea for a startup, made a permanent nation. He set precedents. We call him Mr. President, not His Highness, because George Washington did not like His Highness. We have two terms now, and that was modeled by Washington. And he also set this idea of preserving liberty, that sacred fire of liberty. He knew he couldn't hold on to it. He couldn't ensure it. So he told the people, hey, it's in your hands. And that's really the legacy we have today. All the debates you've had on your show so far, that's an example of us ensuring our representative government.
Well, you sure know your business, and your business is history. Fascinating
That's right.
stuff. Jane Hampton Cook, the author of American Phoenix. Jane, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.
What a great guest.